In a world where survival is never guaranteed, one nation defies the odds, again and again. A country no larger than a dot on the map, surrounded by enemies, outnumbered 100 to 1, yet still untouchable. Every war they were meant to lose, they won. Every threat meant to destroy them only made them stronger. From daring airstrikes that rewrote military history to secret missions that sound like legends, Israel has turned survival into science and defense into art. Their enemies call them unpredictable. Their allies call them unstoppable. The world calls them something else entirely, masters of modern war. This is the story of the nation that refuses to fall. This is Israel, the country that always wins. Throughout modern history, few nations have been surrounded by as many threats as Israel, and yet, few nations have achieved as many stunning victories. Time and again, Israel has faced overwhelming odds, outnumbered, outgunned, and surrounded, and still managed to come out on top. From the Six-Day War of 1967 to its modern-day intelligence operations, Israel's ability to survive and even dominate has fascinated military experts around the world. So why does Israel always seem to win? Are they truly the masters of modern warfare? Let's find out. To understand Israel's success, we first need to understand its situation. Israel is a tiny country, smaller than the U.S. state of New Jersey, surrounded by nations that, historically, have been hostile to its existence. Since its founding in 1948, Israel has been forced to fight for survival almost every single decade. But this constant state of threat didn't break the country. It forged it. Every Israeli citizen knows that security isn't someone else's problem. It's everyone's problem. That mindset, that culture of constant readiness, is one of Israel's greatest strengths. When Israel declared independence in 1948, it was immediately attacked by 5 neighboring Arab nations. Most experts believe Israel wouldn't last a month. Yet, through improvisation, courage, and sheer willpower, the new state managed not only to survive but to expand its territory. That first war set the tone for everything that followed. Israel doesn't wait to lose. It adapts, strikes first when necessary, and refuses to accept defeat. Let's go back to one of Israel's most famous victories, the Six-Day War of 1967. At that time, Israel was surrounded by the armies of Egypt, Jordan, and Syria. Together, those countries had almost 500,000 troops, thousands of tanks, and hundreds of aircraft compared to Israel's much smaller force. The odds looked impossible, but Israel didn't wait to be attacked. On June 5, 1967, the Israeli Air Force launched Operation Focus, a surprise preemptive strike that destroyed more than 400 Egyptian aircraft in just a few hours. By the end of the first day, Israel had achieved complete air superiority, and within 6 days, Israel had defeated all 3 armies, capturing the Sinai Peninsula, the Golan Heights, and the West Bank. It was one of the most shocking military victories in modern history. Analysts later discovered that Israel's victory was not a miracle. It was the result of years of preparation. Pilots trained endlessly in mock combat scenarios. Commanders studied their enemy's weaknesses. Even mechanics and radar operators knew that every second mattered. The operation was rehearsed down to the minute. When the real moment came, it unfolded like clockwork. So how did they do it? How does a small nation repeatedly defeat larger enemies? The answer lies in 4 main factors: intelligence, innovation, training, and mindset. First, intelligence. Israel's intelligence agency, the Mossad, is one of the most effective in the world. They're known for operations that sound like something out of a spy movie, but they're real. In 1960, Mossad agents captured Nazi war criminal Adolf Eichmann in Argentina and secretly brought him to Israel for trial. In the 1970s, after the Munich Olympics massacre, Mossad tracked down and eliminated nearly all of the attackers involved in an operation known as Wrath of God. But intelligence isn't just about revenge, it's about foresight. Israel believes wars are often won long before the first shot is fired, through information. Mossad and its sister agencies, Amman and Shin Bet, operate with a single mission: to know everything, everywhere, before anyone else does. They rely on human intelligence, cyber surveillance, and deep cover agents. Modern-day examples prove this point. Israel's early warning systems have intercepted terrorist plots, cyber attacks, and even enemy weapons shipments across continents. Their intelligence web stretches from the Middle East to Africa to Europe, a silent, invisible network that constantly watches. The second factor is innovation. Because Israel is small and often isolated, it couldn't depend on others for advanced weapons, so it built its own. Today, Israel is one of the top arms exporters in the world. They developed the Iron Dome, a missile defense system capable of shooting down incoming rockets in seconds, with an incredible success rate. When the world first saw it in action, many couldn't believe it was real. The technology became a symbol of how a small nation could protect millions of civilians through innovation and precision engineering. They also built the Merkava tank, designed not only for firepower, but for the safety of its crew. It was engineered to keep soldiers alive, even in the harshest conditions. Beyond the battlefield, Israel pioneered technologies in drones, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence, often tested in real-time conflict situations. This combination of necessity and creativity turned Israel into a laboratory of military innovation. Their motto might as well be, "If it doesn't exist, we'll build it." Even Israel's startup culture, known as the Startup Nation, grew from this same defense-driven mindset. Civilian technologies like Waze and Mobileye traced their roots to military research. Every challenge became an opportunity to invent something new. The third factor is training. In Israel, military service is mandatory for most citizens. Men serve for nearly 3 years, and women for about 2. This means that almost every adult Israeli has military experience. This universal service creates a population that knows exactly what to do in a crisis. When war breaks out, Israel doesn't need to call up reserves. Its entire population is already trained and mentally prepared. This also builds an unbreakable bond between citizens and soldiers. In Israel, everyone either has served or will serve. The military isn't an institution, it's a shared identity. This makes mobilization almost instantaneous, and coordination between air, land, and intelligence units unmatched in the region. They fight not with numbers, but with skill. Even after service, reservists regularly train, updating their skills with the latest tactics and technologies. The result is a population always ready, not out of fear, but out of duty. The fourth factor is mindset, perhaps the most powerful of all. Israel's national philosophy has always been about survival. They call it Ein Brera, which means no alternative. It reflects a deep psychological truth. Losing is not an option. That mindset fuels everything, from a soldier's discipline to a commander's decision. Every war, every mission is treated as a matter of existence, and that changes how people fight. Another example of this mindset was seen in Operation Entebbe in 1976. When a passenger plane was hijacked and taken to Uganda, Israeli commandos launched a daring rescue mission more than 2,500 miles away. In a lightning-fast 90-minute operation, they freed over 100 hostages and eliminated the hijackers. Only one Israeli soldier died, Yonatan Netanyahu, the brother of Israel's future Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. The operation stunned the world and became a symbol of Israel's reach, precision, and determination. It told the world, if you harm Israeli citizens, there is nowhere you can hide. But Israel's success isn't only about war. It's about strategy, adaptation, and learning faster than anyone else. Over the years, Israel has faced not only traditional armies but also irregular warfare, rocket attacks, tunnels, cyber warfare, and terrorism. Each time, it evolved. It built underground barriers against tunnels, perfected drone surveillance, and became a global leader in cyber defense. The Israel Defense Forces also pioneered what's known as mission command, allowing lower-ranking officers to make decisions quickly without waiting for orders. In fast-moving battles, this speed can mean the difference between life and death. Israel has also invested heavily in psychological warfare, social media intelligence, and information control, understanding that in the modern world, perception can be as powerful as firepower. However, Israel's record isn't perfect. Its military victories often come with international criticism, humanitarian concerns, and heavy casualties on both sides. War is never clean, And Israel's conflicts have always been deeply complex, politically, ethically, and emotionally. But even amid these controversies, one thing remains clear. Israel's ability to survive, and often dominate, in one of the world's most hostile regions remains extraordinary. The country's survival is not a matter of luck. It's a result of preparation, intelligence, and the relentless belief that existence itself must be defended. In the 21st century, Israel's strength has expanded far beyond the battlefield. Its expertise in technology, intelligence, and strategy has made it one of the most influential security partners for countries around the world. Nations study Israeli tactics, adopt its technology, and train with its special forces. Even powerful militaries like the United States collaborate closely with Israel, learning from its experience in urban and asymmetric warfare. From counter-terrorism units to drone programs, Israeli expertise shapes the doctrines of modern defense forces everywhere. Israel's defense industry exports not just weapons, but also knowledge, strategies, training systems, and digital security solutions that protect nations from invisible enemies. So, are they the true masters of war? Maybe not in the mythical sense, but in the real, practical sense of survival and adaptability, Israel stands among the best. Its victories were never about conquest or power. They were about survival, speed, intelligence, and unity. A small country surrounded by enemies that turned its struggle into strength. In the end, Israel's story isn't just about military power. It's a story of a nation that turned vulnerability into resilience, fear into innovation, and survival into mastery. And that's why, when the odds seem impossible, Israel doesn't just fight to win. It fights because it has no other choice. This is the story of how a small nation became one of the most formidable military forces on Earth, not through size, not through wealth, but through the unbreakable will to survive.